All right, I just got off the phone with a salesperson, and I wanted to come on and tell you what they did wrong. But first, I want to relate that to physical therapy, because I want to tell you about how to sell physical therapy and how to sell something. So when you sell something, you want to sell the value, and which is really in the transformation, and not the features. So when you sell features, it's really easy to price shop. So if you sell physical therapy and hey, we're cash-based physical therapy and it only costs you $150 to come in. Typically people come in 5 to 8 times. That's really maximum $1,200. Your deductible is $1,000 or $2,000. You're never going to get there anyways. You're going to pay that. You're going to go 3 times a week for 6 weeks to the in-network PT mill. You really want to come here. That doesn't work, because people all they hear is 150, copay is 47 or 45. So what we need to do is sell the value and the transformation. I just got off the phone. We've got right now AT&T, telephone and internet, and it kind of stinks. I do a lot. It's every day-to-day stuff's fine, but I've done some one-on-one Zoom calls and group Zoom calls, and it's like your internet connection's unstable. And I've been getting that, and it might be my end, it might be their end. At home, I went from Comcast at $80 a month, and it was costing me $84, and I got 50 megabytes down and 10 up, or maybe I was only getting 40 down and 10, or 30 down and 10 up, something like that. It was okay, but I couldn't upload large video files. Even to upload a CashPT lunch hour would take me 30 minutes or 40 minutes to upload. So back in November, I switched to North State Fiber, which is, it's sold as gigabit internet. And I was like, I couldn't even get gigabit speed. I need to have gigabit speed. They sold this on gigabit, I should be getting that. So I tried different modems. I bought a new modem, new router, whatever. I wasn't getting gigabit. Eventually, when I bought a new computer in December and I hardwired it, all of a sudden I'm getting 850, 900. It was so part of it was the old computer, and part of it was not the router, not the new Apple Airport Extreme didn't make a difference. But part of the problem was the promise to get 1,000 megabytes per second down and up. That was my promise. Gigabit, we give you gigabit to your home for $74. I'm paying $6 less than I was getting, and at the end of the day, the 300 up, 300 down was still worth it, but I wasn't satisfied. So at work, I'm like, well, I need to get that at work, and I'm like, okay. So we call North State, and they're all like, it's $150, and you're gonna get 50 megabytes up and 50 down, and I'm like, I'm paying $100 a month for AT&T, and I'm getting 50 down, 12 up. I'm gonna pay $50 more for 50/50. I'm like, you guys have been telling me on gigabit, right? So I expect to get I want my 1,000 gigabits per second, or my 1,000 megabytes per second. Hey Cameron, what's up, man? So and we get this package, and we send an email back, said, well, what do we get for $150? And it was, you get 50/50 up and down, and you get 2 telephone lines. And I'm like, I don't care about 2 telephone lines. And you get, something else. And I was like, well, I looked online and I couldn't find any information about what I got. Do I get call waiting? Oh yeah, we got long distance, but I don't care about long distance because we don't really make a lot of long distance calls. I don't need 500 long distance minutes. And so I got on the phone with the sales rep today, and we're talking, and I was like, man, so what's the deal? I get 50/50 here, and you're offering it for $150 at home. I can get a gig for $74. I really don't understand. He's like, well, I don't set the pricing. I'm like, yeah, but I'm basically you guys are selling me on a gig, and at home I can get it for $74, and here I'm getting 5% of that for $150, and to get a gig here is going to cost me $800 a month. I'm like, so here I'm price shopping them in a sense. And he says, I'm like, well, why? And he goes, well, it sounds like, is there a problem with what you have? I'm like, no, I get some, sometimes I'll get an unstable internet, And he's like, well, it sounds like you should just stay where you are. And I was like, well, okay. He said, if price is an issue, you should just stay with AT&T. And I said, well, price isn't really the issue. The issue is I don't know what I'm getting for paying more. I was like, I'm happy to pay more if I know I'm going to get more in value. And he was like, well, you're going to get a 4-hour repair time, where at home, in the neighborhood, it might take a day. And I was like, your service hasn't gone down yet. Like, I don't really care. Like, and can you guys see where I'm going with this? Like, he didn't ask me, what it is I'm having trouble with or what I need. And I told him, I said, look, I do live webinars. I do video conferencing, and we do more than just surf the internet and schedule online. I said, I upload large files every once in a while that, could take overnight on a regular speed, but, at home now it takes like maybe 10 minutes, 2 minutes. I was like, I really like that. And so it was like pulling teeth to get the value out. And I said, look, just tell me what I'm going to get. And this is what he did. And he said, he started to get it, and he goes, okay, well, and I said, look, I need a dedicated line in one office and something at the front. And he said, well, we need to get you on this system where we've got a phone. It's an amazing phone system, and the phone will route calls to other people, other phones, other lines if you need to. It'll be like this, $1 million management system that you guys have access to. The other thing he said, he's like, well, let me get out there with a technician and we'll take a look and see what we can do about getting you a hard line in your other room. And I'm like, well, of course. So now here comes the value. It's like, boom. Okay, so let's relate that back to PT. And it's like, let's talk about the transformation. Well, let's get on the phone and talk for 15 minutes about what might be going on. Why don't you come into our office and let's sit down and talk about what's going on? Because now I'm given value. And it's and that's the big thing, is that people get caught up in price shopping, okay, and in price shopping or feature shopping versus what's the transformation we're going to make. So I think that what we need to be, mindful of is part of the problem is like, okay, some people have posted, like, do we post our rates on our website? Do we tell people about our rates? Well, yeah, if you want to be price shopped, great. And there's people that won't price shop you, and they'll see, oh, it's $150 and I know I'm getting more because I have an experience and blah, blah, blah. No big deal. Like, it just depends on how you want to be and how much time you have, etc. for that. However, this is a clear example of me saying, well, the promise was gigabit internet, and I'm not getting gigabit internet. I'm not even getting half of gigabit internet. It's like, why can't I get it? Like, am I stuck on that? Well, that's what their marketing message is. Their message isn't about better customer service. It's not about you get a dedicated line. This is one of the things he's told me. You get a dedicated line, so you have a dedicated upload and download line, whereas traditional DSL, or I think cable, you have to wait for the information to come down before it can go back up. So this is like a two-way highway instead of a one-way street. Like a one-lane bridge, it's a two-lane bridge. Or I think he said it's Yugo and Ferrari. I would say maybe it's a one-lane horse cover, like covered bridge in New Hampshire or Pennsylvania versus, I don't know, the Golden Gate Bridge or the Bay Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge isn't a great example, but a big bridge that can push a lot of people through. So that's the thing, is that sell the value of not just physical therapy, but what you can do for people. It's the transformation you help people make. Physical therapy is the way you deliver the transformation. So when you're talking to patients, like, he could have asked me, what's your current problem? Why are you looking for a change? Why are you looking for a new service? What things are you struggling with? What would you like to experience instead? If I had told him all those things, he would have said, oh, I've got the exact program for you. It's this bundle. It's called the blah, 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 Small Business Owners, Internet Bundle. And it's only, X, Y, and Z. Does that sound good for you? And we can come in and take a look at your space and customize it for you. How does it sound? I'd say, great, yes, please. And you say, look, it's only 50 megabytes up and 50 down, and I know that you have gig at home, but 50 up and down on a business line is going to be all you need. It's going to be better than what you have. You're not going to need any more. And maybe if you upload 8 hours of video, you just go do that from home once a quarter. Boom, sold. That's all he had to do, and that's all you have to do for your patients too, is find out what they really want, find out what they're struggling with, find out what they really want, find out what they'd like to experience instead, and show them how you can deliver that.